I know it. No, it's we just have good people. We have good people who want to help, and that leads us right into our next guest, right? With Joy. I mean, amazing, absolutely amazing story. You know, Joy, we met at America's Big Deal with Chris Landano's his 360 track belt. So I have so many questions for you. I know we only have 30 minutes, so I'm looking forward to this conversation. You know, I always thought of it this way.
Like thank you, and thank you for having me on this amazing day.
Yeah, it really is.
And all these good people, you know, doing good things, right? It just doesn't get better than this.
Absolutely, and you know the beauty of this, Joy, is your story, right? That was now written into a movie. Is not, you're not an actor, you're not an actress. This is a real life event, right? This is what really happened to you, and that's what I think people can relate to you so well now. Is because you're not an actor. You're not playing some role. You're playing you.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. You know, anybody out there, you know, my biggest mantra is product is king, right? So as an inventor of a product or a designer out there, never forget that, right? And so I had to figure out a way, you know, first of all, I had to figure out a way to get myself off the ground and out of an auto body shop.
Right.
You know, and making a mop, and then, you know, all the steps along the way go to another big principle of mine, is that you just keep putting one foot in front of the other and never stop, right? You know, and I don't think we could pick a better time to be an inventor, a designer product, an entrepreneur, who I believe in so much, because I think the consumer today, you know, as we were just listening to, wants to hear the features and benefits about a product. They want to have the history behind a product. They want that authenticity. They don't always want a big company making something where there's not a face behind it, where there's not history behind the product. I think today the consumer is very different, and therefore I think it's the best time in history to be a small business, an entrepreneur, an inventor, a designer.
Yeah, and you know, and I look at, you know, your story. So there's a couple of things I want to really cover today in the 30 minutes. So it'll go by quick. But you know, your movie Joy, you know, you on QVC, and of course America's Big Deal, which, you know, I was on Shark Tank, and then being in the audience of your new hit show, I was absolutely impressed. I mean, it was amazing. It's so exciting. It was you know, live. You're able to buy the product. It's a really great concept.
You know, I have to tell you, I'm proud of all products, but that was something, and I'm proud of NBC Universal. They got behind it. Nobody ever did live shoppable competition show, and certainly with, you know, entrepreneurs and inventors and designers, we awarded almost $3 million in that series, 10 shows, which is incredible, and gave a platform that didn't exist before, right? In front of all of America. You know, you have your shot. You can do your storytelling of not only your story, but the product story. And, you know, it was cute. Before we began, you know, the network said, do you think we'll sell anything? I'm like, of course we're going to sell. And to me, it's not selling, right? It's showing somebody a great product, and they make the decision whether they need it or not, right? And we literally were selling out of products left and right. It was so awesome, and we've just begun.
Hey, Joy, I know Chris has a bunch of questions, but how exhilarating is it? And you've done so much live TV. I mean, when they say go, what does that feel like? Yeah.
So, you know, I don't know what I could never like memorize and rehearse something, because it wouldn't be me naturally, right? But so anybody that's looking, you know, to do the storytelling, where a product, you know, is a great product and the package just won't do it, right? You know, so the mop, all of a sudden, you know, I wanted people to pay $20 for a mop because it was this amazing mop as opposed to $5. There's some storytelling that has to go on to educate them as to why that's a value, actually, that the mop will last forever, right? So to speak. But the doing live, I think, brings out more than ever the authenticity, right? You're there, and you know, by the time I watched it on America's Big Deal, I could have been in everybody's shoes that stood on that stage. because here was their chance to talk about their product. And some of them had a 20-year history creating that product, right? You know, never give up, right? And so they were talking about their products, you know, Chris, for example, right? The whole history behind what he did to help, you know, everybody, not only firefighters, and that's part of their fiber. So you can't get more authentic than that. So that's why for me, you know, launching America's Big Deal, it had to be live. It had to be real. Otherwise you miss so much of that connection with the person and the product, right?
Yeah, you know, I always said I can't be an actor. I learned that on Shark Tank, right? Because it's a pitch. You're doing a pitch, and you have to have all these moves, be in a certain spot while you're saying it in front of all these people and these judges. So I watched it from the audience standpoint, right, and then went at home and watched it. Oh my God, it just looked great. I mean, the live is so exciting because it's such a thrill, and it's an adrenaline rush to see that happen, right? With somebody pitching it live. That's it. No cuts, no editing. It's live.
No, that's it. That's it. You know, it's so funny. And it's live. So for me personally, you know, the only class I ever cut at university, and Carmine, you'll know, Pace University, business school, right, was public speaking, communications. And I said, God got me back, because that's all I ever did when I finally figured out I was an inventor, right? It took me till I was 30 something years old. I always just thought I was just, you know, changing everything. And you know, and so all I did was live, basically, right? QVC, then to HSN and America's Big Deal. And I just really feel that, you know, it's the pulse of what you get, the real true reality. I mean, we were the first influencers, we were the first reality stars, so to speak, because it was real. And I think, you know, this back then, it's very different from today. There are so many avenues to really get your story out to that consumer. And that's why I say, anybody listening, I feel it's a plus to be a small business, to be an entrepreneur, as opposed to a ginormous company, because I feel like people today really want to know what they're buying, understand what they're buying, and feel the history behind it. I am a big proponent of that.
Yeah, I thought that was really great. So let's talk about the movie Joy, because I think, man, anybody who's watched this movie is blown away. I mean, because it is a process. You know, I think about like someone not giving your tools back, you know, all these different things. And what was it like for you, like to be on a set and you're watching them make a movie about your life? That had to be pretty mind-blowing. It had to be.
Right. So nonetheless, it was very surreal. And these people came to me, I guess they had heard about me, and they said, we're going to make a movie about you. I'm like, oh, okay, fine. And then, of course, you know, David O. Russell and Jennifer Lawrence and Robert De Niro and Bradley Cooper. And it's like, it was amazing. But I think, you know, it was my life story, but it's everybody's story, right? Of determination, you know. And when I look back, and the obstacles were incredible. I mean, the movie didn't even get into half of it. I mean, it was just amazing. And so therefore, you know, one of the famous things I say is, a no is not a no, right? Because a no just makes you stop and say, well, how do I turn it into a yes? Or how do I get around it? And, you know, the obstacles come in all forms. I had unscrupulous people stealing my molds, you know, and it went beyond that. You know, it was really crazy. And so hence my philosophy today is that I only do business with people that I love. Yep. People that I have that ability now. If I have any, you know, freedom, it's the freedom to choose who I do business with, so we can all do good things together, right? And that's a good feeling.
Yeah, no, I agree. You know, funny, when I was a kid, boy, it goes way back now. I met Robert De Niro and Jane Fonda. I was they were doing a film, Stanley and Iris, in Waterbury, Connecticut, where I grew up, and it was next door to my friend's house. So I was literally on the set. I met Robert De Niro. I met Jane Fonda in the gym. That's when she was doing all her aerobics and working out. Yeah. It was pretty cool to watch the whole movie being made. I can't even imagine what it would be like to watching the movie being made of my life, right? Of something that you did and living through it.
It's unbelievable. It really is. But I will tell you, these are famous people who we love and adore. They're actors, but they are fascinated with the business of product, with the business of inventing and designing. Robert De Niro, I'll never forget, a cute little story that we were at his hotel in New York City, and everybody was there, Jennifer Lawrence, Bradley Cooper, all these people. And he leans over to me and he goes, Joy, I have a great idea. I need to talk to you about it. So, who have you met that didn't have a great idea, right? And, I think it's, today, especially today, for me to be talking to you on National Inventors Day, what a tribute when you think back to all the inventors historically and all the creators today, things that are happening today. As I always say, you don't have to build rocket ships. Some of the simplest things can change people's lives. So, I would like to tell anybody, if it's a great idea and it's going to change people's lives, go after it. And, there's always a struggle, but I always say, celebrate those successes along the way. And, my goal, Chris, at the end, how I pictured myself is totally different than where I ended up, right? So you have to be able to change. I call it, shift your skis in life, because I'm a skier. So, and, I think if we learn those kinds of lessons and react in those ways, let me tell you, there's success on all levels.
Yeah, absolutely.
No doubt.
So what happens now? So you do this movie, the movie comes out, it becomes a hit. Where does your life go after this? Now you've launched the Miracle Mop. It's become a success. I mean, you watch how it was pitched on QVC, and so what happened to your life after that? It had to completely turn you upside down.
Well, it did in a way. First of all, I was standing in front of America for 25 years before the movie. The movie, right. It's funny because when I started out in that home shopping arena, right, it was about celebrities. And I was always like, oh, get Joy up here with her mop or her hangers or, and after the movie, I kind of was, viewed a little differently, but I still did exactly the same thing I always did. It actually gave me more of an ability to create more product. And today, even a whole new line of products called Clean Boss for today and the future, right? Because I'm all about, making a better, brighter life for anybody. So what really happened is that I defined myself that my common thread, it wasn't a mop and a cleaning business only, the common thread was innovation. So I don't know if I was the first person to launch, ceramic nonstick cookware, right? Which created a whole industry. Whoever would have ever thought a billion hangers later, a velvety hanger would change an industry, so whether it's towels, whether it's luggage, whether it's affordable leather, fashionable handbags, it's about innovation. It's about taking what's there and taking it to the next level. And that's how my brain works. So I cross all categories. And I think the movie kind of allowed me to go to this platform and have a bigger awareness out there of really what I was about, which was innovation in all forms to make your life better. So, and then America's Big Deal was, my time to give back. I couldn't be prouder. We sat here in the last couple of years and we watched small businesses just, take such a hit. I mean, it was devastating to a lot of people, but small businesses more than anybody, the entrepreneurs. And I said, there's got to be a way. Hence the creation of America's Big Deal, to give a platform and incentive to all these inventors, designers of products. And I couldn't be prouder of that. That's probably one of the things that I'm so proud about. And we're going to keep going.
Yeah, no, I think you got a great hit show there. So let's talk about QVC for a second. I know you were in HSN in the beginning, then you kind of converted over to QVC. How did it feel like the first time? I mean, you were showing your mop, right? Obviously on Home Shopping Network, right? But then how did that take off? How did you feel in front of a camera, like for the first time with millions of people potentially watching you?
Right. So it was QVC first and then HSN for
Okay.
the last summer. Yeah, but that's okay. So, and they're all one company now. But nonetheless, it was petrifying. I mean, it literally, what happened is that they put this, at the time, the Miracle Mop up with a host and it failed. And I said, no. We know, all of us that have product and demonstrate product at fairs and shows and stuff, when you get a reaction, how to talk about that product. So I said, put me on TV and I'll sell that product. So me and my big mouth, right?
Well, who's going to sell it better than you though, really, right?
Right. They did. And so from selling like 50, we sold thousands in a few minutes. And that, to me, that was like, I guess what somebody must feel like when they work on Wall Street with the stock market. It was amazing. It was amazing. It was that, it's real time everything. Callers are real, they're real callers calling in, and you're getting, the reaction of what you're doing in real time. Let me tell you, it was, that's it. That's what I did for the rest of my career. I'm still doing it. I'm still on HSN and still creating products and launching into retail as well. Because I believe we have, America's Big Deal. There's a musical Joy coming out. I mean, it's amazing. So I believe you have to capture that consumer everywhere. They have to find you easily everywhere, not only your products, but you. Because for me, the way I started, as you say, Chris, alive, talking about my products and myself are synonymous. They really kind of, when they see, a hanger, a velvety hanger, or they see Clean Boss, they think of me and they think of what I said about that product. So it's really been a blessing, quite frankly. And the only way I know.
And I think of it this way too, right? If I recall from the movie, you had a lot of money, right? A lot of money invested in a product that after they tried to show it without you being the person selling it, it didn't sell well. And you said, no, you're doing it wrong. Now let me show you. But what did that do for you? I mean, you must have felt like, oh my God, I have all this cash tied up and my product's not going to sell. It has to sell.
Yep. It's a scary proposition, right? You have everything to gain. And, it was, that's exactly what was happening. If that had been returned to me, you wouldn't be talking to me today, because that was my last kind of hope. I mean, yes, I was demonstrating it here and there and selling it, but this was the thing that just catapulted the whole, profile of my company, right? And then, years later, Barry Diller purchased my company, brought me to Home Shopping Network. I was part of Home Shopping Network, and I just kept creating and creating products, so it was the best avenue for me as an inventor to create product and talk about it on a platform, clear across America. So it's been amazing, and I'm grateful every day.
Wow. I think what I love about it is, like I said, you're not an actor or an actress, right? You're a real person that had a real product that struggled like every inventor at some point. And when people say, I can't do it, I want to quit, I always refer back to, look, someone had your tools. They weren't going to give you back your tools, right? Yeah. So at some point, it's everything you had on the table. All cards were in, right? All chips were in.
Many times. And let me just tell you, anybody that thinks that really changes, it doesn't. Right. It's just a different level of challenge. And there's always, what risks do I take? I say that is the most important thing as well in business, to understand the risks you should take and the ones you shouldn't, right? So, everything was on the line then, but there's always a lot on the line that impacts, it's not like you win the lottery when all of a sudden you sell a whole bunch of stuff. It just, you work that much harder. I work harder today than I did when I was, back then. I don't know, I'm crazy that way, but it's just, I think everybody has to take those steps carefully, weigh the risks, and just build. A lot of times I think one of the challenges is, even on America's Big Deal, we are hand-holding on this show these entrepreneurs that all of a sudden, from having just their own website or something, they're going to be in national retail. How do you financially support that? How do you deal with that? And that's why the show goes beyond just winning on stage. It's that whole entree into the national retail world, right? Is more complicated than just making a whole bunch of product.
Yeah, and we talk about the whole process, right? Because I'm in retail. I know how difficult it is, and
Yeah.
how your packaging has to sell, right? It has to be extremely well. So how did you finally transition into this, this Clean Boss? I mean, it's a great line, Clean Boss by Joy. I mean, you obviously had products go along the way, and then you have this whole new brand. Pretty cool.
Well, it's so funny. It was before the pandemic. 10 years ago, I have been at this with making, I'm about cleaning products and being safe for the family. I have children, grandchildren, pets. And so Clean Boss, one of the main products, is the world's most botanical disinfectant, EPA registered, kills COVID and everything else, common cold, everything. And it's a super heavy duty cleaner and odor eliminator. So this product you can spray on your counter. I was possessed to make a product that was a disinfect that powerful in cleaning, that powerful in disinfecting and odor eliminating, but botanical. And that was a 10-year road. And, to get anything approved by the EPA, you get it approved on a federal level, and then every single state has to approve it and test it. So, I couldn't be prouder of the Clean Boss line. And we recently, I was on HSN, sold out of it. We can't, it's made in the USA. We can't make it fast enough. So that was, these are the things that really make me happy in life, to know that a mom or somebody that's a pet owner is using something that's effective but safe. And that's why I say the consumer today, I never looked at that when I was raising my children. I was just like, okay, my mother used this, I'm using this, and now today we have to view things. I think we are smarter, we view things differently. So creating products, as I say, you really have to think about that consumer and what they really need and what will make a difference in life.
Hey, Chris, just to let Joy know, hey, Joy, we just sold out. Because that was awesome.
I was going to say, that's what Marcy's doing. Like, Marcy talks so highly of you. I mean, Marcy, maybe you want to spend a minute talking about what is for you. I mean, you're on mute. There's so many people that have this story, but I know Marcy, like you
Hi,
completely
Hi, Joy.
brought her to the next level.
Chris, you're in trouble
I should have sent you. I have a picture, and Joy, you probably do not remember meeting me, but I was on the Kelly Ripa did an invention reality show 12 years ago, and I was the winner of that show. And so I got to launch my product on HSN, and I was scared to death. I never had even watched HSN one time when I won this thing, and I was going to have to be on television. So I thought, well, I better start watching. And so I turned it on, and there you were. And I was mesmerized, and not just, I mean, your product was amazing. And I was looking at all the features that you built into it. It reminded me so much of the kinds of products that I create, but it was you and your passion, and you just were all in. And I'm watching those numbers just going crazy. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is what I want to do with my life. And it's so fun. It's so fun. And you just inspired me in unimaginable ways. And I also reached out to you at that time and had asked for help finding a manufacturing partner. And you helped me, and you introduced me to an amazing sourcing manufacturing partner who I worked with and launched the product with. And so I just am so forever grateful. And
my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well,
so Joy, this is what I mean. I hear this from so many people.
We need to.
So many people.
Yes. Yeah.
Well,
and even the folks that are on America's Big Deal, like I've talked to several of the contestants, and that's what they all have. They all resonate the same story back. It's like, to see the movie is one thing, to meet you, because you're not an actress, right? It's real life. Now you hear someone like Marcy who didn't even know you and what you did for her. I think that's what you're doing for all of America, honestly.
Yes.
Well, I hope and I can continue, because there are so many great, Marcy, people that like you that have amazing things that will help and change people's lives. And I hope America's Big Deal is a big platform for them. And we really are so proud of that. and it's live too.
It's so fun to watch. I love watching it. And you're right. It's just such an incredible opportunity for inventors. And I couldn't agree more that there's never been a better time to be an inventor. And I love that you're still, oh my gosh. Yes.
And think about it, right? Like Joy being so active now in this community. I mean, at this point, her stardom and fame is beyond belief and off the chart, and she's still doing what she loves to do. Yeah. That's pretty cool stuff.
Yeah. Well,
Very much.
I always say when you're able to live and work at what you're passionate about, right? And it doesn't get better than that, right? And I, as well, my family's involved, right? So, and anybody who tells you don't do that, I disagree with them, because if you can do something you love with the people you love, it's amazing. It's amazing. And, and I think people today, I have this feeling that so many people have had time on their hands, that all these great thinkers we're going to be seeing an explosion of products, and I want, and everybody come to America's Big Deal with their products. Hey,
Joy, real quick. And I'm scared to ask this. I love the show. Is there a second season in the works?
Yeah, well, I'm not allowed to. So
there you go, Carmine. Okay,
right.
Look at you.
Yeah, with details to follow.
Good. And the other thing that you dropped something on is, did you say there was going to be a Joy? Is this on? We're talking Broadway here?
Yeah, it's
musical.
Incredible. It really is incredible. It's really incredible. So, somebody said to me, the only thing bigger than a Oscar-nominated movie is a musical, and it would have been launched this past holiday season, but unfortunately, the times. It's a original music score. It is so inspiring. It's a huge musical. It is. I can't tell you that anybody that goes to see this musical is going to walk away feeling so good. I mean, feeling so inspired, and the music alone I'm all about music. So, is going to be incredible. So we're really excited. I'm going to invite you all to the premiere. How's that sound? That you have it here,
we
right
will
here.
Be there.
Yeah, it is. It's fun. It's fun. And I don't have to sing or dance or get up on stage. So that's unique.
The other scary part is Joy, a lot of people always joke about themselves like, who would play me in a movie? Did you get to choose these actors that were in your movie? Because it's pretty big star-studded cast.
It's as good as it gets.
You're right. So, it's an amazing thing. Jennifer Lawrence, having met her, having gotten to know her, I couldn't be prouder. She is so way beyond her years. She's so brilliant. And a lot of people don't know this. She's probably one of the funniest people I have ever met. Her brain is so quick, and she is just amazing to be around. And, a mom now, right? All good things happening to her, but she was so young and so talented. I was in awe. So, it was, and Robert De Niro, I mean, need I say more? And Bradley Cooper. And I mean, to be introduced to a Hollywood family, that's the one. I mean, I couldn't have gotten, a luckier. And David O. Russell, for his insight into the past, he would call me, we'd talk on the phone, starting at 6 o'clock at night, we'd still be talking at 2 a.m. Really, and when he went to make the movie, and they went to Boston when they had like 4 feet of snow, I don't know if you remember that winter, he made a movie that was 5 hours long. They said, what are you kidding? Because the story really was, as I said, you only saw half of it in the movie. So, but that story, kind of is really the exemplification of everybody's past. It might have different details, but anybody who goes and really, and is trying to go along the path of creating anything, those obstacles might be different, but we're all the same in so many regards. So I think that's why so many people resonate with the movie Joy. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I think so too. And you mentioned family. I'll just give you a quick story on family.
Yeah.
I have a couple young boys, and my whole background is manufacturing. So I've launched a lot of products. I'm a design engineer, but I always took them when they were little to all these events. And then as I got older and they got their own education, I start bringing them into the company. and they heard the stories and they watched me and saw me, but then they start living them, right? They start being part of it. I start questioning things on Lean Six Sigma, how to prove processes. And now you look at both of them and they see it very differently. I even took my youngest, who's 24 now, he just turned 24, to Good Morning America with me. And I proposed live on Good Morning America to my current wife. And it was amazing. It was just like absolutely amazing to have my family there. So so I'm with you on that. The more you can bring your family into the event and make it work, the better. I agree.
Listen, I couldn't agree with you more. And my children thought the warehouse was like, an amusement park, because that's where they went with me every weekend and so, and it really is, it's just something that is irreplaceable, right? I mean, because I've always said that my principles in life are my principles in business, right? And when we sit around, I mean, you don't want to be at our Thanksgiving table because everybody is talking, we're always talking about, what's going on. Even my son-in-law was my producer at HSN, talking in my ear for 15 years. I said, once they got married, I stopped listening to them. So I'm very fortunate. We all, live, breathe, and eat all that we do. And, I guess it shows, right? In all, and we're just so proud of making anything that'll change somebody's life and make it better, right? As you know, Marcy.
That's the fun stuff. Yep. And it's so true. Being able to do what you love is the best. And as you're saying, to do it with people that you love also just takes it over the top.
It takes it to another level.
It really does.
I think so. I guess I'll see you all at the premiere of the of the musical, right?
100%.
Joy, who's playing you in the musical?
So, she's a Tony Award winner. She's amazing, and I only wish I had that voice. So, but it's a star-studded cast again. I mean, it's just the talent. We just went to what they call as a reading, but the music. I mean, the music is amazing. I think we all are ready for something that's just going to uplift us and kind of make us happy for the next, whatever after we see it. So, and this will do that. So, and I think, being a New Yorker, I can't wait to really see New York, the theater, all the beautiful cultural things that New York has to offer come back to life in a big way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, it was an absolute pleasure to have you on the show today, Joy. Everything about you is just spectacular. And I love what you're doing for everyone. You're just, you're an absolute inspiration to all of America. And to have you on a day like today, National Inventors Day, it's the best thing that could have happened. So thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. And have great conversations, all of you.
Yeah, Joy, again, thank you for jumping in at such short notice. I know you're busy. Feel free to stay on while Marcy's doing her presentation. I know you probably got to go, but it's 100% up to you. You're always welcome at the UAA, and we appreciate it. Yeah, we appreciate everything you do.
Excellent. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
National Inventors Day.
All right, Marcy, it's all yours.